Shalawam, shalawam. All praises be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well and sincerity taught us this truth. And shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect. It's your brother Yerami Kazak back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. This will be quick and straight to the point, less than 10 minutes. Okay, we was doing a live and was going into we had stumbled upon, just dibbling, dabbling, going into what time did Joseph reign and what he had been called and all of that. And I had to, finally, I forgot I had these. I had to go pull out these Rose books, okay? So, Rose Chronological Guide to the Bible. Now, they have, based upon loosely based, what the scholars say, right? And it pretty much lines up with what the scriptures say, It's based off the scriptures and things of that nature, has precepts in it. So, going into the time frame, I'll just read through some of this. Okay, now let's go to the Abrahamic covenant. Okay, and as it says right here in Genesis, the 12th chapter, verse 3, all peoples of the earth will be blessed through you. Okay, now I'm going to pull that up over here. Genesis 12, and Abram journeyed to Egypt. Now Yahawah had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. All right. So this time frame, as it's putting on this thing right here, would have been around 2100 BC. Okay, 2100 BC, and it gives the lifespans of the individuals as well. All right. Now continuing, you would go over to, as we would go over here, Abraham and covenant. Abraham goes to Canaan. Ishmael is born to Abraham and Hagar. Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed. Isaac is born to Abraham and Sarah. Abraham and, as you can see down here, Isaac, right? In between 2100 BC and 2000 BC. And then Abraham sends Hagar and Ishmael away, death of Sarah. Isaac marries Rebekah. Esau and Jacob are born. You go to the lifespan of Jacob right here, around 2000 BC. And then death of Abraham. And that actually matches the scripture, Genesis the 25th chapter. Let's go over there. Genesis the 25th chapter. And as it starts, Abraham's death. Okay? Abraham's death. And you go down here, and it came to pass after the death of Abraham that power blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well, Lahairoi. All right, and then descendants of Ishmael, and then you go down here to Isaac's sons, right? Jacob and Esau. Okay, the nations that we know today are the Israelites and the Edomites. Okay, so keeping it going. Jacob marries Leah and Rachel. Jacob has 12 sons, the tribes. Jacob is renamed Israel. Joseph is taken to Egypt. Now, boom, right? Israelites in Egypt. So Joseph is taken to Egypt. So it would have been truly around 1900 BC. Because as we went into in the lesson, this is a correction because we actually said it was around 1500 or so BC. But that wouldn't make sense because of the prophecy. Where we had to dwell in the land of Egypt for 430 years. All right, 400 years of slavery, and then, 30 years we was just there. Okay? So, keeping it going, Judah and Tamar have a son. Jacob blesses his sons before his death. That's Genesis the 49th chapter. And then death of Joseph would have been around here. Now, Joseph would have been a ruler at this point in time. All right? He would have been a governor in Egypt. So that right there is what we was trying to figure out what his name would have been at that point in time. All right, but I'm gonna continue with this because I want to just finish the timeline, and then we'll go back. Or I actually go deeper into that on possibly another lesson. So 430 years. Okay, we was here from around this time to around this time, right? And then we went into the wilderness for 40 years. And then the conquest of Canaan, they even have it in here, 7 years, right? And then the time of the judges would begin as we look into the history books, and I believe it says 1350. Time of judges. Let's look that up. Okay, let's see what the Google says. 1380 to 1050. And over here, Salakia, we refocus. Over here, yeah, it's about 1350, I'll say, or so. So, like I said, it varies. It's off a little bit, whatever, It's around the ballpark. That's why we ain't gonna trip over all of that. But the era of the judges, and it says what, for about 300 years. And then you would have King Saul. His rulership would start, it should be starting around 1050 BC, because he would rule for about 40 years. Each king would rule for about 40 years, these three. So Saul had a 40-year period, King David had a 40-year period, and King Solomon had a 40-year period. The United Kingdom of Israel, right? 40 years. 40 plus 40 is 80, plus another 40 is 120. So that is right there on the ballpark. That's perfect, right? And then you would go into the split, Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. Northern Kingdom, 209, be took out the way around 722 BC. That's perfect. That lines up. That matches. And then Southern Kingdom of Judah, right, 345, be took out the way around, really starting around 605, going to 580 something. So, yep, starting over here, Jeremiah and Daniel, Ezekiel, right, and then boom, exiled, and that's around 587. Okay, that's when the Southern Kingdom was kicked out. As you have right here, coming into Neo-Babylonian Empire, perfect, aligning up, right? And then, you got the Persian Empire, etc., etc. Okay, so just a quick overview of all of that. All right, now I pray this was edifying, you know what I'm saying? But going back to the Joseph situation, I found this page. It's called DW World History. Now I'm gonna go back to it lists all the pharaohs and their time frames, right? Majority of them. It's pretty solid. And then I'm gonna take it all the way back to when Joseph got to Egypt. Now, as we see it right here, Joseph is taken to Egypt, and that's around 19 or so, or maybe like 1880. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna find 1880. And once again, this is DW World History. I'm gonna go find it, 1880. I done passed it. All right, let's see what they talking about. Let's see what they saying, or if they even got it. We got 1991, 1971, 1929. This is it, right? Around this. So it would have either been the pharaoh that he was under would have been Pharaoh Senusret or Pharaoh Senusret, right? And let me make sure this is correct. Yep, Israelites in Egypt. And Joseph would have been there before we really would have been there. So as you can see, he's there roughly, maybe like 20 or so years, right? So it would have been one of these, okay? Pharaoh and me help. Pharaoh's sinew set.